Welcome to episode 11 of The Life We Create. I am Cobain Rivers.
And I am Taylor Joy Stevens. Welcome back.
Ooh. And we missed you guys.
We did.
I think we miss you every week. It feels like it's such a long period between these weeks. And this week there was actually it was a 2-week break.
2?
Well, we took a week off, so it's been 2 weeks since an episode came out.
Okay.
Yeah. What we're trying to do here with the podcast, with the brand as a whole, is really create something that is bigger than just the two of us. So we need a little extra time this week, but we've got some great things to talk about today. Really exciting topic. We want to talk about
Some fun stuff brewing. Just you wait.
Yeah. But this week we want to talk about something scary. It's like a monster, and we call it creative freedom.
Oh.
And that may not seem scary, but creative freedom can be crippling for some.
It can.
Picture this: you wake up in the morning, you've got a whole day planned for creativity. You sit down, you're thinking, what do I want to create? You're going through all the ideas in your head. You've got tons of them. And you're still thinking, and then 8 hours go by. And then you realize that you've spent the entire day thinking about what you want to create instead of actually creating. That's the downside of creative freedom.
Yes. Oh, God. It can be its own prison that you don't realize until you're like in it. That creative freedom can truly ruin you if you allow it to run rampant.
It's a thing to where you can ruminate over which idea to start with, what project you want to do, where you want to go.
Paralysis.
Yeah, where you want to go, what medium you want to tackle, especially when you have multiple mediums or you're multifaceted when it comes to your creativity. You're doing a lot of different things. Sometimes it gets hard to narrow down where do I put my efforts today.
Yeah. Especially when you're really, both of us are really generative with ideas, and we can like come up with ideas like all day long, nonstop. So that it becomes really daunting too when you have all these ideas and you're like, where do I start?
Yeah. And when you have multiple projects already in progress, sometimes you can sit down and be like, okay, which one of these do I want to tackle? What am I in the mood for? A few hours go by and you're like, maybe I'll go do something different. But some of the other downsides around letting your creativity just roam free.
Yeah.
And Taylor mentioned it with the paradox of choice.
So the paradox of choice happens when you have all these different options, all these different ideas in this scenario, and there's so many, you become overwhelmed by them, and it creates inaction and the analysis paralysis that we mentioned previously, where basically instead of like expanding your options like you would think, like expanding your choices, it actually just it just constricts you and you end up not choosing anything.
Yeah. Think about like if you went into a store, an ice cream shop, you go to this ice cream shop and they've got 1,000 flavors. On paper, that sounds fantastic. 1,000 flavors, man, I can have everything. You get in the store though, and now you're faced with these 1,000 choices. And so you're just looking at it and you're looking at every single one, but you can only choose one. Maximum, you get 3 scoops.
3.
And so now you're stuck in this, what do I decide? And it reminds me of this Larry David episode. Yeah. So now you're sitting here trying to go through all these flavors, a line out the door. People behind you are so angry because they just want ice cream. That's the paradox of choice.
Yeah. And it also brings me back to like school and like when you'd have certain like creative projects and stuff, especially when you're younger, we're given, the instructions and the constraint of certain projects or crafts, and we all did them.
Yeah.
And we all worked within those parameters because that's what was in front of us and it was clear. And so us coming upon this, it's helping us inject that into our adult lives
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And like, I can tell you when we decided to kind of jump into creativity as our business and really focus on that from an entrepreneurial standpoint, like it is sometimes very difficult tuning in on the things that, or prioritizing the things that you want to create and what you think is going to be the best in the moment, or what you think is best for your audience, or what you think is, there's so much so much strategy involved. And if you are just if you're just waking up and letting the wind decide, sometimes that can get overwhelming. And, for us, I think there were in the very early stages there, and even today, sometimes there are these moments where we're trying to figure out what is it that we need to do with our day. And when you've got no structure, it can be a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's almost ironic, honestly, when you think about the concept of pursuing creativity for a living and then getting into it and being like,
yeah,
all right, well, I need someone to tell me what to create.
I was also going to say that it's the irony of all this freedom, yet you feel like you're in a prison because you don't know what to do with it. So thankfully, there are processes that can help if you feel like this too.
Yeah, there's actually, it's cool knowing that there are a lot of other creatives out in the world that have faced this and that understand that there is something special about creating structure for yourself. What sparked this idea was a YouTuber by the name of Struthless did this whole conversation on what's called the stallion theory. And it's actually a concept that Jerry Seinfeld came up with. And it's basically, think of your mind and your creativity as the stallion that's going wild in your head. It's bucking all around and just doing whatever it wants. And you have an option. You can either tame this stallion and ride it, and it creates the best experience for you, or it goes crazy and it can kill you.
Yeah, let's not let the latter happen, please. We're here to tell you that the stallion does have a harness.
Yes.
And it's up to you to put it on.
Yeah, so Struthless has what's called the harness theory.
Stallion.
The stallion harness. And that's basically this process that allows you to actually ride your stallion and let you, ride off into the sunset like the super amazing creative that you are, and get projects done and move forward and really tackle the things that you want to tackle, opposed to letting the idea tackle you.
All right, so let's get into it, partner. All right, this comes in 3 here parts: context, instruction, and parameters. Now, starting with context, what is your goal? How will you get there or go about it? And motivation.
Yes.
Right.
I'm not sure what any of those hand movements were. It's like you were conjuring the spirit of context.
I was because I was trying to recall it.
Yes. So, and the way Struthless breaks those down are into 4 buckets, which are going to be destination, your vehicle, the gas, and then the keys.
I got the keys.
Shout out to DJ Khaled. The destination for us, we did this around our podcast. I think I said that already. But the destination for us is building a creative community. Our keys, I skipped one. Our vehicle is through our podcast. Our gas is basically we want to have these creative conversations between us and with other people. And then our motivation or keys are because we think that creativity has a positive impact on mental health, and we want to share that with as many people as we can.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah. So that's our context.
Yeah.
It's basically the why to what you're doing. Shout out to Simon Sinek. If you are not familiar with who that is, he's got many TED Talks and speeches and a whole book on starting with why. It's basically something that he speaks to as being like the main reason companies make it to where they're trying to go or achieve what they're trying to achieve is because they understand their why. They're starting with that purpose, and it's what drives them.
Yeah. I was going to say it's the driving force. Very aligned.
Yeah.
All right. Now on to instruction, which is the second aspect of this harness. It's a simply defined task for your creativity.
Yeah. And so for us, that was release 1 episode every week.
Yep, simple, straight to the point. All right, and on to the third part, which are the which is the parameters or constraints. So basically, it's like these stipulations you put into place to help guide your creativity. I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, and so the buckets that Struthless puts here are what are your resources, how much time do you have to do it, what's the quality, what's the quantity, what's your deadline, and then he has like a miscellaneous one for anything else you want to add to it. So for us, our quality and our resources were kind of combined. We do this in our loft in our apartment, and so because of that, we don't have a ton of space to make too many things happen. We've got really good equipment, so I mean, I think that's why this looks as good as it does every week. But we try to do it in our space so that we can stay consistent, and it limits the amount of excuses we have to not do it.
Yeah.
The quantity for us is 1 a week. We want it the deadline to be on Friday. It needs to be uploaded on the different platforms by Friday, because that's when the episode comes out every week. And then the time we have to do this, that was kind of an easy one. So we do about 30 minutes. Sometimes it can be 15 to 20 minutes. A big reason for the time is because we do this while our son is sleeping. So he gets to dictate that time for us. So that made it very easy.
Yeah. A built-in constraint.
Yeah, built-in constraint. And miscellaneous ones, there's not really too much on the miscellaneous. We kind of work with those other parameters. I think that the quantity one has been probably the most difficult. And it's, it sounds like, 1 a week, that's easy. And it is if you set yourself up for success. We've been doing these every week opposed to sort of building up a stockpile of episodes. And sometimes you may have noticed we've skipped a week. And a big reason for that is because we get really busy with our clients or projects that we have. And so we get spread thin, and the podcast becomes like, okay, well, maybe we'll push this to next week, and we'll just leave a message let people know what's going on social media.
Trying to wrangle all the other stallions.
Yeah. So what we're working on now is kind of stockpiling some of these episodes so we can avoid that. I think you may have heard this before, but consistency is key for anything you're trying to make grow and impact people. People start to rely on you to be there, and if you're not there, they lose faith. So we're trying to now build up something so that we can consistently be here. And honestly, I think a big goal is for us to grow the content. So outside of the one podcast episode a week, we want to bring more things to you. So stockpiling episodes is the smartest way for us to be able to do that.
Yeah. Set yourself up for success.
And I shared that mainly because I think it's good to know, I think one thing that I really love about the content creators that I watch and the shows and things I consume, I really love when they give you this behind the scenes look at what's happening. They tell you the good and the bad, and then they let you know, hey, this is my solution to the things I'm running into. And so this is about a journey, and it's a journey for all of us, and we try to be very transparent about our creative process here. So I wanted to share that because I think it's good to know. And so if you're working on something, you're trying to figure out your how to build workarounds around things that may be holding you up, definitely don't be afraid to share the process with your audience, because they love it.
Yeah. And share it with us too. This is one method that we came across that we're implementing and we're excited about. Because I think otherwise we have all these ideas swimming around in the ether that is our creative world. So this really helps us I don't know, just get a good grasp and clarity. But we'd love to know if there's a process you use to assist in your creativity and your creative flow. We just want to have a conversation around it. Yeah. Take what you like and leave the rest. Honestly. So try it out for yourselves. Share with us.
There's plenty. I was gonna say, there's plenty of other methods. That probably are working for people. And so we would love to hear those. So definitely share them with us. when we talk about building a creative community, we don't just mean like in person. We do mean online. We do mean wherever we all are. So if you have thoughts, share it. Let us know. We do shout out the few people that have reached out to us on social media to ask questions about why we do certain things on the show, why we do them the way we do them, giving us ideas on how we can improve certain things. We love that. So definitely keep reaching out to us.
Yeah. And building a creative community is truly building a creative movement. So we're glad you're here for the ride. Saddle up and let's giddy up on out of here.
I just want to say, more than just cowboys ride horses, right?
Yeah.
Why does I think we all as like a society.
But what do other people say? Like, what do English writers say? I'd have to ask my mom. She wrote English a long time. Yeah. Did the jumps and.
I just want to shout out the other types of individuals that ride horses that are not cowboys from the Wild West.
Yeah.
We see you.
Please help. Okay. And with that, like, subscribe, share, follow, leave a review. Would love that.
Yep. Until next time, have a good weekend. Bye.
Peace.